And now we'll write just a little bit more code to get this monkey to respond to our tweets. In this demo, like we've already covered, we're going to call into Twitter's streaming API and give it a function that we want it to call whenever a certain tweet comes in. So let's jump back to Visual Studio and start with the code that we've already got. The Twitter module that we want to include is called Twitter, and we'll bring that in using the conventional uppercase T as Twitter. Now, just requiring a module is not enough. You do have to actually make sure that it's installed. So let's jump out to our console and npm install Twitter, and that's a dependency of this project. So we're going to use the -- save. Great. Now, we're going to include something called config. Now, the only reason that I'm doing config is so that I can hide my Twitter credentials from you, my audience. And in order to make that work, I'm going to go ahead and add an existing item called config. And it exists here, although we're not going to open that up. Now I can paste in the instantiation of the Twitter object, and we have a local variable with a lowercase t called Twitter. Remember that JavaScript is case sensitive, so this is a different object than this one. And it is using my config module and the keys that were defined in that config module to set that up. Now this Twitter module is available to me all below inside my work function there. So all I really need to do is paste in a little bit of code to replace this manual animation of the monkey. And with this new code, what we're doing is hooking into the Twitter stream, filtering the statuses for something called TweetMonkey. And whenever data is received, this handler for the data event is going to do the work for us. It's going to do the work of animating the monkey and then setting the timeout so that the monkey stops animating after 2 seconds. Great. Let's go ahead and deploy this and give it a try. So we'll do our standard deploy, but I did copy that config file into my project, and I'm going to have to copy that up to the device as well. So I'll do scp config.js to root at tweetmonkey.local/tweetmonkey. There we go. Config.js should be up as well. Let's go ahead and jump out to our device and make sure that everything's working. Looks like we have not been able to find the Twitter module, and that's because although we installed it locally and saved it into our package.json file and even copied the package.json file back out to the device after that change, we haven't done a necessary npm install again to get the new modules. The production flag, whoops, that was spelled wrong, which simply means that the dev dependencies are going to be installed. That won't hurt us at all. And just so you know, the 2 dev dependencies that we don't need that were just installed were Gulp and Candyman. And we can uninstall those with a simple npm uninstall. And they're gone. Let's run it again. And there we go. Everything appears to be working. The only reason why we don't see any activity at this point is because there haven't been any tweets with the hashtag of TweetMonkey. Well, let's go ahead and choose a filter that's going to be a little bit more popular. And we all know what everybody talks about on the internet these days, and that is cats. So let's just do a quick search for cat. A gulp deploy should get that code back out to our device. It's finished. Node app.js. And that's working, but we have no way of telling if we have any tweets right now. So let's try something else. We'll break that. Now let's go ahead and write a console log inside of our function here. We'll just say hi for now. Make sure that that works. Gulp deploy it out to the device and run it. And we'll now get a hi every time somebody tweets anything that contains the text of cat. Run it. It's working, and there we go. In fact, people on the internet are talking about cats. But how do we figure out what it is that we're able to enter right here? We have this data object which represents our tweet, but it'd be really nice to just kind of figure out what that tweet is made of. Sure, we could go look at Twitter's online documentation, but there's a little bit better way. Let's go ahead and set a breakpoint here by pressing F9. Then we'll go to the Tools menu. We'll go to the Node.js Tools under Remote Debugging Proxy and hit Open Containing Folder. Now this remote debug.js file can be dragged into our project. It exists there now. We can jump out to our console and we can copy that just like we did with the config.js up to our device. Now it exists on the device. Let's jump back to the device, and now instead of saying node app.js, we'll simply say node. That's not working very well for me. Let me just clear. We'll say node remote debug.js and then app.js. So we're actually launching remote debug with node, but we're passing in app.js as a parameter so that it can launch it using a proxy. And that appears to have worked. We are getting our hi messages. Now let's jump over to Visual Studio. Remember, we're on a different device here, so this is kind of great. We'll go to the Debug menu and Attach to Process. Inside of the transport, we'll change this to Node.js Remote Debugging. And for the qualifier, we'll enter TCP:// and then the name of our device, in this case tweetmonkey.local. That might be an IP address if that's how you're connecting. And the port is 5858. That port was designated in the console whenever we launched the debug proxy, but it stays the same, so it should be the same for you. Now let's go click refresh. Don't click find up there, that'll take some time, but we'll click refresh and it should find that process on that remote device. We'll click it, attach, and now our debugger should be attached. And in fact, we have broken inside of our function, and you should see that the highs have paused on the device because we're broken. Let me hover over data, and in fact I have a value there. Let me look inside of that. Oh, and I have all kinds of really good information here. I can scroll down. I have information about the user. What's the user's screen name? In fact, there it is. And in fact, the text is the actual text of the tweet. So maybe that's exactly what we're looking for. So we want to say data.user.screenname. There we go. So now we're going to get the user's screen name, a colon, and then the text. Maybe we'll specify some value here that will make this easy to determine. Save that. Let's go ahead and stop this using Shift F5. And now we can use just a simple gulp deploy to update our app.js file. Now instead of connecting with the remote debugger, we'll just connect normal. The deploy is done, so we'll launch this. And there it's working, and we're getting those tweets. The text of those tweets are scrolling by. That's excellent. But let's hook this up to TweetMonkey instead of searching the internet for cats. All right, TweetMonkey is plugged in. The designated hash TweetMonkey has been used for the track value. We'll go ahead and leave our console login so that we can see what's being tweeted. And just after that occurs, we should get a pin high. 2 seconds later, we should get a pin low. We can go ahead and take this breakpoint off with an F9, save that code. We'll deploy it. As soon as the deployment is finished, we execute node app.js, and we should be waiting at the working function. And I'll jump over to my Twitter client of choice in another window, compose a tweet, go ahead and tweet that, and it lands. Now let me jump back to Visual Studio and just bring your attention to the fact that this relatively modern, relatively capable example of hooking into an API like Twitter and controlling a modern IoT device is only this long. That's very few lines of code. So once again, we're using very high-level code to execute very low-level logic. Well, that does it for the making of TweetMonkey. Next, we're going to look beyond a single IoT device at communications between them in the next and final module in this course. This includes, by the way, a sneak peek at TweetMonkey's older brother, CommandMonkey, so don't miss that.